Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome back to the daily readings of Srila Prabhupada's books. I'm thunderstruck. I just had a little exchange with my dear friend Ritatvaj Maharaj, and he's looking like 1,000% better than last time I saw him. He was having health issues. I'm thinking about going to whoever it was that he went to. Yeah, it's time moves on, no matter who you are, no matter what you are, time moves on. Time has a way of putting things into the past. Everything. So once you get that principle, whatever's happening to you at the moment, you don't become so disturbed about it because you realize that just hang around and it will go into the past. Yeah. All right, let's hear. But the Bhagavatam is past, present, and future. It's eternal. So the more we hear the Bhagavatam, the more we get out of time and space. All right. Srila Sanatana Goswami has written this beautiful prayer glorifying the Srimad-Bhagavatam called the Srimad-Bhagavata Mihima Stotram. It appears in Sri Krishna Lila Stava, verses 412 to 416. It's actually a published book by the BBT, and Gopi Pranadana Prabhu translated it and commented on it, and Jayadvaita Maharaj and myself edited it. So we're very close to it and attached to it with affection. And it goes like this. I'm waiting for him because he's the voice. Once his voice is there, it goes good. Sarva Shastabdi Piyusha Sarva Vedaika Patvala Sarva Siddhanta Ratnaja Sarva Lokaika Drikprada. O nectar from the ocean of all scriptures, singular fruit of all the Vedas, rich mine of the precious gems of all conclusive truths, you are the only giver of sight to all the worlds. I'm sorry, go ahead. Srimad-Bhagavata Prabhu Kalidwan Doditaditya Sri Krishna Parivartita. O life air of all the Supreme Lord's devotees, O Master Srimad-Bhagavatam, you are the sun risen in the darkness of Kali. You are the exact image of Sri Krishna. Paramananda Pataya Prema Varshakshadaya Te Sarvada Sarvasevyaya Shri Krishnaya Namostume. I bow down to you, who is supremely blissful to read. Your every syllable pours down a flood of prema. You can always be served by everyone. You are Sri Krishna himself. Madeka Bando Matsangin Madguro Man Mahadana Manistadaga Madbhagya Mad Ananda Namostute. My only friend, my constant companion, my spiritual master, my great wealth, my savior, my good fortune, my source of ecstasy, I bow down to you. Asadu saduta dayin atini chochata kada hanamun jagadachin mam premnarit kadayospura. O bestower of saintliness to the unsaintly, O exalter of the most fallen, please never leave me. Always appear in my heart and my voice with pure love. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Okay, the beginning of a pastime. Indra, the king of heaven, proud of his opulence, neglected to offer proper respect to his spiritual master Brhaspati when he entered into the assembly. He was surrounded by all the demigods and apsaras and gandharvas and so many auspicious personalities. They were partying. In the heavenly planets they do a lot of partying. and he just didn't pay the proper respect, and Brhaspati left. And as soon as he did, Indra realized what he had done. Because he's a devotee, Indra. A little attached to opulence, but he's a devotee nonetheless. So here we are, 6th canto, 7th chapter, beginning with text 15. King Indra said, "Therefore, with great frankness and without duplicity, I shall now bow my head at the lotus feet of Brhaspati, the spiritual master of the demigods. Because he is in the mode of goodness, he is fully aware of all knowledge and is the best of the Brahmanas. Now I shall touch his lotus feet and offer my obeisances unto him and try to satisfy him." Purport. Coming to his senses, King Indra realized that he was not a very sincere disciple of his spiritual master, Brhaspati. Therefore he decided that henceforward he would be nishita, non-duplicitous. Nishita, shirshna touch charanam sprishan. He decided to touch his feet, he decided to touch his head to the feet of his spiritual master. From this example, we should learn this principle enunciated by Vishwanath Chakrabarti Thakur. Yasya prasadad bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nakati katopi. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. A disciple should never be a hypocrite or be unfaithful to his spiritual master. In Srimad-Bhagavatam 11:17-27, the spiritual master is also called Acharya. Acharya mam bijaniyan. The Supreme Personality of Godhead says that one should respect the spiritual master, accepting him as the Lord himself. Navamanyeta karichit. One should not disrespect the Acharya at any time. Namartya budhya suyeta. One should never think the Acharya an ordinary person. Familiarity sometimes breeds contempt, but one should be very careful in one's dealings with the Acharya. Agada dishanam dvijam. The Acharya is a perfect Brahmana and has unlimited intelligence in guiding the activities of his disciple. Therefore, Krishna advises in Bhagavad Gita 3:4-34, Tadvidi panipatena pariprashnena sevaya upatekshantite jnanam jnaninas tatpadarshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. One should fully surrender unto the spiritual master, and with service, sevaya, one should approach him for further spiritual enlightenment. Text 16. While Indra, the king of the demigods, thought in this way and repented in his own assembly, Brhaspati, the most powerful spiritual master, understood his mind. Thus he became invisible to Indra and left home, for Brhaspati was spiritually more powerful than King Indra. Text 17. Although Indra searched vigorously with the assistance of the other demigods, he could not find Brhaspati. Then Indra thought, "Alas, my spiritual master has become dissatisfied with me, and now I have no means of achieving good fortune." Although Indra was surrounded by demigods, he could not feel peace of mind. He could not find peace of mind. Text 18. Hearing of the pitiable condition of King Indra, the demons, following the instructions of their guru, Shukracharya, equipped themselves with weapons and declared war against the demigods. Text 19. The demigods' heads, thighs, and arms, and the other parts of their bodies were injured by the sharp arrows of the demons. The demigods, headed by Indra, saw no other course than to immediately approach Lord Brahma with bowed heads for shelter and proper instruction. Text 20. When the most powerful Lord Brahma saw the demigods coming toward him, their bodies gravely injured by the arrows of the demons, he pacified them by his great causeless mercy and spoke as follows. Text 21. Lord Brahma said, O best of the demigods, unfortunately, because of madness resulting from your material opulence, you failed to receive Brhaspati properly when he came to your assembly. Because he is aware of the Supreme Brahman and fully in control of his senses, he is the best of the Brahmanas. Therefore, it is very astonishing that you have acted impudently toward him. Purport. Lord Brahma recognized the Brahminical qualifications of Brhaspati, who was the spiritual master of the demigods, because of his awareness of the Supreme Brahman. Brhaspati was very much in control of his senses and mind, and therefore he was a most qualified Brahmana. Lord Brahma chastised the demigods for not properly respecting this Brahmana, who was their guru. Lord Brahma wanted to impress upon the demigods that one's guru should not be disrespected under any circumstances. When Brhaspati entered the assembly of the demigods, they and their king Indra took him for granted. Since he came every day, they thought, they need not show him special respect. As it is said, familiarity breeds contempt. Being very much displeased, Brhaspati immediately left Indra's palace. Thus all the demigods, headed by Indra, became offenders at the lotus feet of Brhaspati. And Lord Brahma, being aware of this, condemned their neglect. In a song we sing every day, Narottam Das Thakur says, Chakshu Dana Diloje, Janma Janme Prabhu Se. The Guru gives spiritual insight to the disciple, and therefore the Guru should be considered his master, life after life. Under no circumstances should the Guru be disrespected, but the demigods, being puffed up by their material possessions, were disrespectful to their Guru. Therefore, Srimad-Bhagavatam 11:17-27 advises, Acharyamam Vijanayan Navayam Navamanyeta Karachit Namartya Budya Suyeta. The Acharya should always be offered respectful obeisances. One should never envy the Acharya, considering him an ordinary human being. Text 22. Because of your misbehavior toward Brhaspati, you have been defeated by the demons. My dear demigods, since the demons were weak, having been defeated by you several times, how else could you, who were so advanced in opulence, be defeated by them? Purport. The Devas are celebrated for fighting with the Asuras perpetually. In such fights, the Asuras were always defeated, but this time the demigods were defeated. Why? The reason is stated here was that they had offended their spiritual master. Their impudent disrespect of their spiritual master was the cause of their defeat by the demons. As stated in the Shastras, when one disrespects a respectable superior, one loses his longevity and the results of his pious activities, and in this way, one is degraded. Text 23. O Indra, your enemies, the demons, were extremely weak because of their disrespect toward Shukracharya. But since they have now worshipped Shukracharya with great devotion, they have again become powerful. By their devotion to Shukracharya, they have increased their strength so much that now they are even able to easily seize my abode from me. Purport. Lord Brahma wanted to point out to the demigods that by the strength of the Guru, one can become most powerful within this world, and by the displeasure of the Guru, one can lose everything. This is confirmed by the song of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Yasya prasada bhagavat prasado, yasya prasada nagati katopi. By the mercy of the spiritual master, one is benedicted by the mercy of Krishna. Without the grace of the spiritual master, one cannot make any advancement. Although the demons are insignificant in comparison to Lord Brahma, because of the strength of their guru, they were so powerful that they could even seize Brahmaloka from Lord Brahma. We therefore pray to the spiritual master, Mukham Karurivachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinataranam. Bhavarta Deepika Commentary on Srimad-Bhagavatam 1:1:1. By the mercy of the Guru, even a dumb man can become the greatest orator, and even a lame man can cross mountains. As advised by Lord Brahma, one should remember this Shastra conjunction if one desires success in his life. Text 24. Because of their firm determination to follow the instructions of Shukracharya, his disciples, the demons, are now unconcerned about the demigods. In fact, kings or others who have determined faith in the mercy of Brahmanas, cows, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, and who always worship these three, are always strong in their position. Purport. From the instructions of Lord Brahma, it is understood that everyone should very faithfully worship the Brahmanas, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the cows. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is Go Brahmana Hitaya Cha. He is always very kind to cows and Brahmanas. Therefore, one who worships Govinda must satisfy him by worshipping the Brahmanas and cows. If a government worships the Brahmanas, the cows, and Krishna, Govinda, it is never defeated anywhere. Otherwise, it must always be defeated and condemned everywhere. At the present moment, all over the world, governments have no respect for Brahmanas, cows, and Govinda, and consequently, there are chaotic conditions all over the world. In summary, although the demigods were very powerful in material opulence, the demons defeated them in battle because the demigods had behaved disrespectfully toward a Brahmana, Brhaspati, who was their spiritual master. Text 25. O demigods, I instruct you to approach Vishwarupa, the son of Twashta, and accept him as your guru. He is a pure and very powerful Brahmana, undergoing austerity and penances. Pleased by your worship, he will fulfill your desires, provided that you tolerate his being inclined to side with the demons. Oops. Purport. Lord Brahma advised the demigods to accept the son of Twashta as their spiritual master, although he was also always inclined toward the benefit of the asuras. Text 26. Srila Shukadev Goswami continued, thus advised by Lord Brahma and relieved of their anxiety, all the demigods went to the sage Vishwarupa, the son of Twashta. My dear king, they embraced him. My dear king, they embraced him and spoke as follows. Text 27. The demigod said, Beloved Vishwarupa, may there be all good fortune for you. We, the demigods, have come to your ashram as your guests. Please try to fulfill our desires according to the time, since we are on the level of your parents. Text 28. O Brahmana, the highest duty of a son, even though he has sons of his own, is to serve his parents. And what to speak of a son who is a brahmachari. Text 29 and 30. The Acharya, the spiritual master who teaches all the Vedic knowledge and gives initiation by offering the sacred thread, is the personification of all the Vedas. Similarly, a father personifies Lord Brahma, a brother, King Indra, a mother, the planet Earth, and a sister, Mercy. Let me read that again. The Acharya, the spiritual master who teaches all the Vedic knowledge and gives initiation by offering the sacred thread, is the personification of all of the Vedas. Similarly, a father personifies Lord Brahma, a brother, King Indra, a mother, the planet Earth, and a sister, Mercy. A guest personifies religious principles. An invited guest personifies the demigod Agni, and all living entities personify Lord Vishnu, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Purport. According to the moral instructions of Chanakya Pandit, Atmavat Sarvabhuteshu, one should observe all living entities to be on the same level as oneself. This means that no one should be neglected as an inferior. Because Paramatma is seated in everyone's body, everyone should be respected as a temple of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This verse describes the different ways in which one should respect a guru, a father, a brother, a sister, a guest, and so on. Text 31. Dear son, we have been defeated by our enemies, and therefore we are very much aggrieved. Please mercifully fulfill our desires by relieving our distress through the strength of your austerities. Please fulfill our prayers. It's 6:7:32. Since you are completely aware of the Supreme Brahman, you are a perfect Brahmana, and therefore you are the spiritual master of all orders of life. We accept you as our spiritual master and director, so that by the power of your austerity, we may easily defeat the enemies who have conquered us. Purport. One must approach a particular type of guru to execute a particular type of duty. Therefore, although Vishwarupa was inferior to the demigods accepted him as their guru to conquer the demons. Text 33. The demigods continued, "Do not fear criticism for being younger than us. Such etiquette does not apply in regard to Vedic mantras. Except in relationship to Vedic mantras, seniority is determined by age, but one may offer respectful obeisances even to a younger person who is advanced in chanting Vedic mantras. Therefore, although you are junior in relationship to us, you may become our priest without hesitation." Purport. It is said, Vidatvam Vayasa Vina. One may be senior without being advanced in age. Even if one is not old, one gains seniority if he is senior in knowledge. Vishwarupa was junior in relationship to the demigods because he was their nephew, but the demigods wanted to accept him as their priest, and therefore he would have to accept obeisances from them. The demigods explained that this should not be a cause for hesitation. He should become their priest because he was advanced in Vedic knowledge. Similarly, Chanakya Pandit advises, Nichat apyutamam jnanam. One may accept education from a member of a lower social order. The Brahmanas, the members of the most elevated Varna, are teachers, but a person in a lower family, such as a family of Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, or even Shudras, may be accepted as a teacher if he has knowledge. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu approved of this when he expressed this opinion before Ramananda Roy. C.C. Madhya 8:128. Kiba Vipra, Kiba Nyasi, Shudra Keninoi, Ye Krishna Tattva Veda, Se Guru Hoy. It does not matter whether one is a Brahmana Shudra, Grihastha, or Sannyasi. These are all material designations. A spiritually advanced person has nothing to do with such designations. Therefore, if one is advanced in the science of Krishna consciousness, regardless of his position in human society, he may become a spiritual master. Text 34. Shukadev Goswami continued. When all the demigods requested the great Vishvarupa to be their priest, Vishvarupa, who was advanced in austerities, was very pleased. He replied to them as follows. Text 35. Shri Vishvarupa said, O demigods, although the acceptance of priesthood is decried as causing the loss of previously acquired Brahminical power, how can someone like me refuse to accept your personal request? You are all exalted commanders of the entire universe. I am your disciple and must take many lessons from you. Therefore, I cannot refuse you. I must agree for my own benefit. Purport. The professions of a qualified Brahmana are Patana, Patana, Yajana, Yajana, Dana, and Pratigraha. The words Yajana and Yajana mean that a Brahmana becomes the priest of the populace for the sake of their education, or the words Yajana and Yajana mean that a Brahmana becomes the priest of the populace for the sake of their elevation. One who accepts the post of spiritual master neutralizes the sinful reactions of the Yajamana, the one on whose behalf he performs yajna. Thus the results of the pious acts previously performed by the priest or spiritual master are diminished. Therefore, priesthood is not accepted by learned Brahmanas. Nevertheless, the greatly learned Brahmana Vishvarupa became the priest of the demigods because of his profound respect for them. So this is one of the differences of performing a Vedic sacrifice with the priest performing it on your behalf. If you do that, that person diminishes in his spiritual power, in his Brahminical power. But transcendental devotional service is not like that. It's anandam buddhi vardhanam. Transcendental devotional service increases in the heart of the person who is giving. Therefore, we don't have to worry about that business. Text 36. O exalted governors of various planets, the true Brahmana, who has no material possessions, maintains himself by the profession of accepting shilonchana. In other words, he picks up grains left in the field and on the ground in the wholesale marketplace. By this means, householder Brahmanas, who actually abide by the principles of austerity and penance, maintain themselves and their families, and perform all necessary pious activities. A Brahmana who desires to achieve happiness by gaining wealth through professional priesthood must certainly have a very low mind. How shall I accept such priesthood? Purport. A first-class Brahmana does not accept any rewards from his disciples or yajamanas. Practicing austerities and penances, he instead goes to the agricultural field and collects food grains left by the agriculturalists to be collected by the Brahmanas. Similarly, such Brahmanas go to the marketplaces where grains are purchased and sold wholesale, and there they collect grains left by the merchants. In this way, such exalted Brahmanas maintain their bodies and families. Such priests never demand anything from their disciples to live in opulence, imitating Kshatriyas or Vaishyas. In other words, a pure Brahmana voluntarily accepts a life of poverty and lives in complete dependence on the mercy of the Lord. Not very many years ago, a Brahmana in Krishnanagar, near Navadvip, was offered some help from the local zamindar. Raj Krishna Chandra. The Brahmana refused to accept the help. He said that since he was very happy in his householder life, taking rice given by his disciples and cooking vegetables of tamarind leaves, there was no question of taking help from the zamindar. The conclusion is that although a Brahmana may receive much opulence from his disciples, he should not utilize the rewards of his priesthood for his personal benefit. He must use them for the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Text 37. All of you are my superiors. Therefore, although accepting priesthood is sometimes reproachable, I cannot refuse even a small request from you. I agree to be your priest. I shall fulfill your request in dedicating my life and possessions. Text 38. Sri Shukadev Goswami continued, O king, after making this promise to the demigods, the exalted Vishvarupa, surrounded by the demigods, performed the necessary priestly activities with great enthusiasm and attention. Purport. The word samadhina is very important. Samadhi means complete absorption with undiverted mind. Vishvarupa, who was a most learned Brahmana, not only accepted the request of the demigods, but took their request seriously and performed the activities of priesthood with an undiverted mind. In other words, he accepted the priesthood not for material gain, but to profit the demigods. Such is the duty of a priest. The word pura means family, and hita means benefit. Thus the word purohit indicates that the priest is the well-wisher of the family. Another meaning of the word pura is first. A priest's first duty is to see that his disciples benefit spiritually and materially by all means. Then he is satisfied. A priest should never be interested in performing Vedic rituals for his personal benefit. Text 39. The opulence of the demons, who were generally known as the enemies of the demigods, was protected by the talents and tactics of Shukracharya. But Vishvarupa, who was most powerful, composed a protective prayer known as the Narayana Kavacha. By this intelligent mantra, he took away the opulence of the demons and gave it to Mahendra, the king of heaven. Purport. The distinction between the demigods, devas, and demons, asuras, is that the demigods are all devotees of Lord Vishnu, whereas the demons are devotees of demigods like Lord Shiva, Goddess Kali, and Goddess Durga. Sometimes the demons are also devotees of Lord Brahma. For example, Hiranyakashipu was a devotee of Lord Brahma. Ravana was a devotee of Lord Shiva, and Mahishashura was a devotee of Goddess Durga. The demigods are devotees of Lord Vishnu, Vishnu Bhakta Smrito Daiva, whereas the demons, Asuras Tad Viparyaya, are always against the Vishnu Bhaktas or Vaishnavas. To oppose the Vaishnavas, the demons become devotees of Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Kali, Durga, and so on. In the days of yore, many long years ago, there was an animosity between the devas and the asuras, and the same spirit still continues. For the devotees of Lord Shiva, Goddess Durga, are always envious of Vaishnavas, who are devotees of Lord Vishnu. This strain between the devotees of Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu has always existed. In the higher planetary systems, fights between the demons and the demigods continue for a long, long time. Herein we see that Vishvarupa made for the demigods a protective covering saturated with the Vishnu mantra, Sometimes the Vishnu mantra is called Vishnu Jwara, and the Shiva mantra is called Shiva Jwara. We find in the Shastras that sometimes the Shiva Jwara and Vishnu Jwara are employed in the fights between the demons and the demigods. The word Suradvisham, which in this verse means of the enemies of the demigods, also refers to the atheists. Srimad-Bhagavatam elsewhere says that Lord Buddha appeared for the purpose of bewildering the demons or atheists. The Supreme Personality of Godhead always awards his benediction to devotees. The Lord himself confirms this in Bhagavad Gita 9:31. Kauntiya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashati. O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotee never perishes. Text 40. Vishwarupa, who was most liberal, spoke to King Indra, Sahasraksha, the secret hymn that protected Indra and conquered the military power of the demons. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports to the 6th canto, 7th chapter of Srimad-Bhagavatam, entitled Indra Offends His Spiritual Master Brhaspati. Okay, now we're going to hear the Narayana Kavacha shield. I think this is very special. We'll chant the mantra. We won't. Usually I chant the English, but this in this section we'll chant the mantra, the Narayana Kavacha. Okay, chapter 8. The opposite of the Narayana Kavacha. This chapter describes how Indra, the king of heaven, was victorious over the soldiers of the demons, and it also describes the shield of the Vishnu mantra. To take protection from this shield, one must first touch kusha grass and wash one's mouth with achaman mantras. One should observe silence and then place the 8-syllable Vishnu mantra on the parts of his body and place the 12-syllable mantra on his hands. The 8-syllable mantra is Om Namo Narayanaya. This mantra should be distributed all over the front and back of the body. The 12-syllable mantra, which begins with the pranava Omkara, is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. One syllable should be placed on each of the fingers and should be preceded by the pranava Omkara. Thereafter, one must chant Om Vishnave Namaha, which is a 6-syllable mantra. One must progressively place the syllables of the mantra on the heart, the head, between the 2 eyebrows, on the shika, and between the eyes, and then one should chant the Mak Astrastapat, Mak Astrayapat, with all this mantra protect, and with this mantra protect himself from all directions. So you can know when we put tilak on, that's what we're doing. The Vishnu mantra, only it's a pure Vishnu mantra. It's actually more powerful than the Narayana Kavacha. According to this direction of the Shastra, one must think himself qualitatively non-different from the Supreme. After finishing this dedication, one must offer a prayer to the 8-armed Lord Vishnu, who sits on the shoulders of Garuda Dev. One also has to think of the fish incarnation, Vamana, Kurma, Nishinga, Varaha, Parashuram, Ramachandra, the elder brother of Lakshmana, Narayana, Dattatreya, an empowered incarnation, Kapila, Sanat Kumara, Hayagriva, Naradev, the incarnation of a devotee, Dhanvantari, Vrishabhadev, Yagya, Balarama, Vyasadev, Buddhadev, and Keshava. One should also think of Govinda, the master of Vrindavan, and one should think of Narayana, the master of the spiritual sky. One should think of Madhusudana, Tridama, Madhava, Rishikesha, Padmanabha, Janardana, Damodar, and Vishvashara, as well as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, Himself. After offering prayers to the Lord's personal expansions, known as the Swangsha and Shaktiavesha avatars, one should pray to the weapons of Lord Narayana, such as the Sudarshan Gada, the Shudarshan, Gada, Shanka, Khadga, and bow. After explaining this process, Shukadeva Goswami told Maharaj Parikshit how Vishwarupa, the brother of Vritrasura, described the glories of the Narayana Kubacha to Indra. Interesting. The brother of Vritrasura. Text 1 and 2. Shri Parikshit inquired from Shukadeva Goswami, "My Lord, kindly explain the Vishnu mantra armor that protected King Indra and enabled him to conquer his enemies, along with their carriers, and enjoy the opulence of the three worlds. Please explain to me that Narayana armor by which King Indra achieved success in battle, conquering the enemies who were endeavoring to kill him." Text 3. Sri Shukadeva Goswami said, King Indra, the leader of the demigods, inquired about the armor known as the Narayana Kabacha from Vishwarupa, who was engaged by the demigods as their priest. Please hear Vishwarupa's reply with great attention. Text 4 to 6. Vishwarupa said, if some form of fear arrives, one should first wash his hands and legs clean, and then perform achaman by chanting this mantra: Om apavitrak pavitro va sarvavastam katopi va yaksmaret pundarikaksham sabhaya vyantarak shuchihi Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu, Shri Vishnu. Then one should touch kusha grass and sit gravely and silently, facing north. When completely purified, one should touch the mantra composed of 8 syllables to the 8 parts of his body, and touch the mantra composed of 12 syllables to his hands. Thus, in the following manner, he should bind himself with the Narayana coat of armor. First, while chanting the mantra composed of 8 syllables, Om Namo Narayanaya, beginning with the pranava, the syllable Om, one should touch his hands to 8 parts of his body, starting with the 2 feet and progressing systematically to the knees, thighs, abdomen, heart, chest, mouth, and head. Then one should chant the mantra in reverse, beginning from the last syllable, Ya, while touching the parts of his body in the reverse order. These 2 processes are known as Utpatti Nyasa and Samhara Nyasa, respectively. Text 7. Then one should chant the mantra composed of 12 syllables, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, preceding each syllable by Omkara. Om Namo Om Bhagavate Om Vasudevaya. Preceding each syllable by the Omkara, one should place the syllables of the mantra on the tips of his fingers. beginning with the index finger of the right hand and concluding with the index finger of the left. The 4 remaining syllables should be placed on the joints of the thumbs. We can get all this done by chanting Hare Krishna. We're so lucky. Text 8 to 10. One must then chant the mantra of 6 syllables, Om Vishnave Namaha. One should place the syllable Om on his heart, the syllable V on the top of his head, the syllable Sa between his eyebrows, the syllable Na on the tuft of his hair, Shika, and the syllable Ve between his eyes. The chanter of the mantra should then place the syllable Na on all the joints of his body and meditate on the syllable Ma as being a weapon. He should thus become the perfect personification of the mantra. Thereafter, adding Visarga to the final syllable Ma, Maha, he should chant the mantra Maha Astraya Pat in all directions, beginning from the east. In this way, all directions will be bound by the protective armor of the mantra. Text 11. After finishing this chanting, one should think himself qualitatively one with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is full in 6 opulences and is worthy to be meditated upon. Then one should chant the following protective prayer to Lord Narayana, the Narayana Kavacha. And we'll stop there. It's 7:30, and we'll start the Narayana Kavacha tomorrow night. Okay. Hare Krishna. Yes, please. Okay, give him the mic. You have to be our techie.
In this, it talks about the different incarnation of
Ananteshwara, our Vaidya, is speaking.
Hare Krishna. In
What
this, it was talking to meditate upon different names of the Lord, and in that it also mentions Lord Buddha. It talks about Buddha Dev. So it's the Buddha Dev is the same Lord Buddha, or it's someone else.
Same Lubru.
Because if we meditate on Lord Buddha Dev, his philosophy is totally different than what we follow.
Well, the thing is, this is a mantra, Kavacha. So, because Lord Buddha is actually an incarnation of Krishna, therefore the sound of his name is auspicious, even if his philosophy isn't. Actually, as stated in the purport, Lord Buddha came to bewilder the atheists. And what does that mean? It means he taught them atheism, but he taught them to worship him. Or, even if they didn't teach him to, he was so worshipful and respectful that they naturally bowed down and offered incense and offered food to him. So it's not that because Buddha taught atheistic philosophy and decried the Vedas that we don't get benefit by chanting his name. The holy name of Buddha is there in the Bhagavatam.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Pranata. Karuna.
Thank you. In text 24 of chapter 7, in the purport where we hear governments that have no respect for brahmanas, cows, and Govinda, and consequently there are chaotic conditions all over the world. I thought that was very interesting.
Well, there you have it.
I was wondering if you could elaborate on that.
Well, elaboration is just open our eyes and look around and watch the activities of our so-called leaders and so-called priests of the major religions, and you can see the cause and effect relationship immediately. In other words, the more we hear the Bhagavatam, and the more we assimilate the knowledge into our character, and then look out at the world, the more we see that the truths in these books are actually correct. And then what happens? Then the faith increases. And if we keep doing this, our faith will become fixed and eventually complete, and then we will see and perceive Krishna everywhere. During the day, when we're doing our daily duties or whatever we do, we'll perceive Krishna's presence. We'll be with Krishna constantly. So that's the goal, at the beginning of the goal. And when we do that, then Krishna becomes attracted to us. And when Krishna is attracted to us, when he starts thinking directly of us, then our problems are finished. And as long as we're struggling, then we can understand, maybe not Krishna's not thinking of us like he could be. I thought it was interesting, my reflection, one reflection I had while I was reading, I thought it was interesting how Brahma instructed the demigods, right? Indra, you disrespected your spiritual master. What do you expect? The demons now, they've worshipped their spiritual master properly, so the principle is very powerful. I mean, Shukracharya is not a pure Vaishnava. I don't know if you know this. There are other places in the Bhagavatam where Shukracharya he's materialistic. He's not a pure Vaishnava. When Vamana came to ask 3 steps of land from Bali Maharaj, who, because he was born in the family of Asuras, took Shukracharya as his priest, as his spiritual master, then Shukracharya said, no, you can't do that, because he'll take everything, don't you know? He's Vishnu, and he'll take everything. And then Bali said, what? But you're supposed to teach me how to worship Vishnu, and now you're teaching me against the principle of worshiping Vishnu. I reject you. So he lost everything materially, but he gained everything because Krishna gave himself to him. And he became basically he became the doorkeeper of Bali Maharaj. So therefore, it was very interesting how Lord Brahma is instructing the demigods to take someone who's lesser than them. Twashta was actually lesser than them. He was their nephew in relationship, in the family relationship or the village relationship, or the demigod relationship. He was lesser, but he put him as a priest. You have to worship this person to curb their pride. They were too proud. They couldn't give respect to their spiritual master. So then he said, you have to take this person as your spiritual master. He's a qualified brahmana. I thought that was interesting. How the principle of being respectful to superiors, to being respectful to authority, the eternal principle. The more respectful we are to superiors, then the more empowered we become to become successful. Our success potency comes from that principle. Therefore, Prabhupada used to instruct us that even though Lord Jesus Christ was a bhakti yogi, maybe a kriya bhakti yogi, but still he was teaching devotion to God. But they couldn't follow him. He couldn't give, he could only give as much as they could hear. But still, he taught them by the way he responded to their chastisement, to forgive them. So that was very powerful. It spread this Christianity all over the world, just by this humility, forgiving persons who are actually attacking him and trying to kill him. Brahminical tejas, Brahma tejas, forgiveness. More powerful than Kshetra tejas, the danda, the rod of chastisement that the king has to carry in order to correct citizens. Yes, Sarva, please. Enlighten us further. Take us to the next level.
So it seems that following etiquette, Vaishnava etiquette, Vedic etiquette, protects one from making offenses or displeasing the Lord. And it seems that it's better to be safe. There are some situations where maybe a younger devotee may be more advanced in some ways, but it seems that there should be some care to follow the etiquette, even if you sometimes are confused and so forth.
Absolutely. That's why in terms of this example of Jesus, Prabhupada said even though he couldn't give so much because the people couldn't hear very much, still, and although he was preaching about God, in the demigod worship, it's even more important because it teaches people to surrender to the authority. So the demigod worship is higher than most mundane religions because it teaches them, they come in contact with brahmanas when they perform sacrifices and so many things, and they learn to be, submissive to authority. So that system of etiquette, like you're talking about, even if the etiquette is not to the perfect person, it helps us, helps elevate and purify our consciousness. Awakens our humility.
Like taking care of children, women, old people, cows, they may be weaker in some ways, but honoring them and not lording it over them.
Absolutely.
Is very important.
Absolutely. Extremely important. How can we have peace in society, in human society, when we're disrespecting blameless living entities, blameless persons?
But the materialists push this idea that if I've got more money than you, or I'm trickier than you,
that's it.
Then I'm in a superior position that I can put
bow
you
down to me.
Yeah, it's completely different.
Absolutely opposite to the truth. Yeah, Prabhupada wanted us to show those principles in our dealings with one another, in our relationships, in our worship. Definitely. Very important. Okay, that's it. Exactly 7:15, my bewitching hour. Okay, Kalpatru has something to say.
I just wanted to let you know that tomorrow festival
Yes.
will start from 6 o'clock.
Okay, we'll have a reading at 4:30. Okay, tomorrow our reading is at 4:30. Thank you everyone out there in cyberspace. Do we have any questions from cyberspace?
No.
Okay. Thanks everyone for joining us. Tomorrow we'll start to hear the Narayana Kabacha, so we can all become protected.
He's suggesting that we should start.
No, on Saturday there's a program at 4, 4 to 7.
Oh yeah, for Sunday school. 25th years.
What is this?
Sunday school graduation.
Sunday school graduation on Sunday.
On Saturday
On Saturday at 4 o'clock.
4 to 7.
4 to 7.
Is the program?
Okay, so we'll have our reading and Hare Krishna. I'll read to the walls if I have to, because I made a vow. I have to do this every day no matter what. So everybody can go to that program.
But tomorrow 4th.
Tomorrow 4:30. Okay? And Saturday at 4:30. Sunday at 4:30. 3 days in a row. Okay, thank you very much everybody. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai, Narayana Kabacha ki jai, Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.